Hello everyone and welcome to Asthma UK's latest health and wellbeing webinar. For this series of webinars, we've reached out far and wide to find experts who've kindly volunteered their time, and their aim is to help us to help you, the Asthma UK community, keep your mind, bodies and soul active. To help you get the most out of today's session, please make sure you're watching on a device you can easily see and hear, such as a laptop or a mobile phone. Today, I'm delighted to introduce Julia White, who'll be running a session on breathing techniques for you all. This is our latest session with Julia, who's a yoga teacher and aromatherapist who often teaches people with asthma how yoga can help control their symptoms. Julia has asthma herself and was actually diagnosed in her 30s. She also understands only too well how serious asthma can be, as she sadly lost her sister Claire to an asthma attack in 1994. Today, Julia will be teaching you some breathing techniques which hopefully will be helpful for many of you watching. That said, if you do have asthma and you're planning to take part in today's session, please do ensure you keep your reliever inhaler close by and take things at your own pace. Also, please remember, if you do have asthma, please do not stop taking your preventer inhaler as prescribed. We really hope that everyone who attends these sessions finds them useful, and if you've missed any of our previous webinars, you can find them all at asthma.org.uk/webinars and on Asthma UK's YouTube channel. Whether you or a loved one has asthma, we have some great ways for you to stay up to date with everything asthma related. If you don't already do so, please follow Asthma UK on Facebook or Twitter, or join the ever-growing community of people who regularly read our emails by signing up to receive our email updates. Now, as always, before we go any further, there are a few house rules. Please be aware that today's webinar has been pre-recorded. However, we do have a chat function enabled, and we'd love you to say hello or post any hints and tips that you want to share. And do let us know any ideas you have about future health and wellbeing webinars that you'd like to see from us. Remember though, this is a family-friendly environment, so when chatting, do please be nice. The chat is of course moderated, but if you have any medical questions, please be aware that our moderators are unable to answer these as they have no medical training. Also, don't worry if you miss anything today either, because you'll receive an email over the next day or so giving you the opportunity to replay today's session. Here at Asthma UK, we're a charity committed to trying to keep everyone with asthma safe and well, but we can only do this with your support. So if you do find this webinar useful, please consider donating just £5 to our summer appeal after the session to help us continue being there for everyone with asthma. Your support is so important as it will help us to continue providing vital services for people with asthma now and in the future. So without further ado, let me hand you over to Julia for today's session.
My name is Julia. I'm a yoga teacher and aromatherapist. I've had asthma, I have asthma, my sister had asthma, so I know what it's like not to be, or to struggle for the breath and not to find breathing very easy. So I'm going to show you some breathing techniques that are going to help you breathe with a little more ease. Okay, first things first, if you normally have asthma, if you normally use an inhaler, then you want to make sure that you have it by your side, somewhere within reach in case you need it, because obviously if you use an inhaler you should always have it near you whenever you're doing any kind of exercise. Next thing is we need to find a nice comfortable seated position. So I'm just sitting cross-legged, but that's just me. If you want to sit cross-legged on the floor on a mat, that's fine. You just want to work on finding a nice, comfortable seated position, whatever's going to work for you. Either full cross-legged, or you can just put one foot in front of the other. Alternatively, if you want to work on your cross-legged positions, use some cushions. Okay, if you find your hips are really tight and your knees are really high up when you sit cross-legged, that's not going to work because you're going to get really tight and really uncomfortable in a few minutes. So place some cushions underneath your knees, and then you can support your knees that way, and then you can sit up tall that way. And then obviously the more you do this, the more your hips start to open, and then you can turn the cushions the other way, and then your knees will come closer to the floor the more your hips unfold. But like everything, it's just practice, practice, practice. And obviously, you know, modern life being what it is, our hips tend to be very tight because we're either sitting a lot or we're walking, we're running, we're cycling, so everything's really tight. Okay, so that's a good way to practice opening up the hips, is to sit cross-legged with cushions underneath you. You can also do it right up against the back of the sofa, so you work on keeping your back straight. Okay, otherwise, use a chair, or use a stool, or use a sofa to sit. So you want to sit right on the edge. So you don't want to sit right back on it and slouch. You want to come to the edge of your mat, come to the edge and sit right on the edge of the sofa or your chair. So come right to the edge. Keep your hips and knees and feet hip width apart. So legs are not together, hip width apart. You want to place your feet flat on the floor. If you're wearing shoes, trainers, even slippers, take them off. You can keep socks on. But you want to get your feet flat on the floor, and you want to sit up as tall as you can. You don't want to end up hunching, because that will defeat the object. So you're just squashing your diaphragm and your lungs, which is where you want to be breathing through. So you want to sit up as tall as you can. Okay, if you're in bed and you can't get out of bed, or you're on the sofa and you can't get up, you can also do this lying down. And if you're lying down, see if you can get someone to prop you up with some cushions so that you're not completely flat to the floor, or flat to the bed. Okay, and then you want to sit up tall in whichever position you're doing. So just find some kind of comfortable, easy seat, something that's going to be nice and comfortable, and something that means you can stay here for some time. Okay, so with yoga, most of the breathing is done in and out through the nose, and that way the nose filters the air before you bring that air down into the body, and then obviously it filters out again on the exhale. So we want to work on bringing as much oxygen as we can into the body on the inhale. Exhale, on the exhale we're trying to get rid of as much rubbish as we can. It's like the exhale is sort of detoxifying, getting everything out the body. We're also working when we're breathing on full optimum breathing and really helping to increase our lung capacity, which is going to help us breathe more easily. And by watching the breath, following the breath, focusing on the breath, it's also a good way to help the body relax, because all you have to do is focus and concentrate on just breathing. And obviously I know for people with asthma, concentrating on breathing is really hard, especially at the moment. That struggle for the breath can be incredibly stressful, incredibly painful. So this is a way to help you relax, to help you breathe a little more easily. So what we're going to do is, in yoga, what we call Nadi Shodhana. It's an alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to bring everything into balance just by using the breath, and bringing everything into balance by balancing both hemispheres of the brain, balancing your left side of the brain, your right side of the brain. So you've got sun energies, moon energies, left, right, masculine, feminine, positive, negative. So you're going to bring everything into balance just by using the breath. So what we're going to do is, so you want to use your right hand, and you want to take your right hand and you want to press your first two fingers down so that you leave your last two fingers and your thumb sticking out. Okay, might sound a little bit Star Trek-y, but it will become easier in a minute. Okay, what you want to do with your right hand, you want to place your thumb on your right nostril, and then you place your last 2 fingers on the left nostril. There's no pressure applied, you're barely touching. And then these first 2 fingers obviously want to stay pressed into your palm, otherwise you're going to end up meshing your nose. So if this is really uncomfortable, you can instead rest your first 2 fingers between the eyebrows instead. Okay, I'm just going to come a bit closer so I can show you. Okay, so you press your first 2 fingers down, you leave your last 2 fingers and your thumb sticking out. Your thumb comes to your right nostril. Your last 2 fingers come to your left nostril. And then these first 2 fingers stay tucked in, so you're not bashing your nose, or alternatively you can rest them on the space between the eyebrows. So you're not squeezing and prying any pressure at all, you're barely touching. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to open the left, you want to sit up first of all, tall as you can. Nice tall straight spine. Straighter your spine, more oxygen you're going to be able to breathe in, the more you're going to be able to exhale. And so it's got full optimum breathing. So we're going to work on really increasing this lung capacity, working on our breathing, and working on bringing everything into balance. So, first of all, release, this is a bit exaggerated. You're just going to take your fingers away from your left nostril so that you can then inhale through the left nostril for a count of 3. And then you close the left nostril and then you exhale out through the right nostril for a count of 3. And then you inhale through the right nostril for a count of 3. And then you exhale out through the left nostril for a count of 3. And this is 1 round, and we're going to keep going. So it's called alternate nostril breathing because you're breathing in through 1 nostril at a time, but for the same amount. If 3 is too short, you can try lengthening it to 4 or 5 or 6. If 3 is too long, you can do it for just 1 or 2, but just work on whatever you're inhaling for, you're exhaling for through each nostril. So we bring everything into balance by breathing for the same amount. Okay, so we're going to do several rounds of this so that we bring everything into balance, bring everything into peace, and bring everything into calm. Okay, so back to the position again. Thumb on your right nostril, last 2 fingers left nostril. First 2 fingers pressed into the palm, or first 2 fingers resting on the space between the eyebrows. Make sure you keep sitting up tall. Don't just start to slump. So wherever you are, lying down, sitting down, on the floor, sit up as tall as you can the whole time. Okay, and release those, take the fingers away from the left nostril slightly. Inhale through the left nostril for a count of 3. Close the left nostril, exhale out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhale through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhale out through the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out to the left nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out through the left nostril for a count of 3. Last one, inhaling through the left nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out through the right nostril for a count of 3. Inhaling through the right nostril for a count of 3. Exhaling out through the left nostril for a count of 3. And then just bring your hand back down to your knees. Just turn the palms up. Close the eyes. Take nice, long, deep breaths. You just brought everything into balance just by using the breath. Take one more nice, long, deep breath here. And then bring your hands to prayer position, heart center, and just bow to your practice. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're now in a nice, calm, peaceful place and brought everything into balance and increased your breathing as much as you can. Take care, stay safe, breathe with more ease. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julia, for today's session. And to all of you who joined us at home today, thank you for watching. Remember, if you'd like to repeat today's webinar, please keep your eyes peeled for an email over the next day or so, which will give you a link to replay the webinar. And remember, we'd love you to join our ever-growing online community of people who care about asthma. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on the latest asthma news and advice or more expert webinars, please do follow Asthma UK on Facebook or Twitter, or sign up to receive our regular email updates. As always, these sessions are completely free to attend, and you can watch all the webinars we've run so far at asthma.org.uk/webinars. However, if you have enjoyed the webinar today, and if you can, please do consider making a donation of just £5 to Asthma UK today. For every 6 people who attend the webinar and donate £5, collectively you could be helping to fund an hour of a specialist asthma nurse's time on the Asthma UK helpline. Your support will mean that our nurses can be there for you, your loved ones and everyone with asthma when they need them the most. And remember, if you or a loved one needs support with your asthma, please visit asthma.org.uk/helpline for details on how to contact one of the friendly nurses on our helpline. On behalf of myself and everyone here at Asthma UK, thanks for joining, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.